Hello everyone and welcome back to a more conversational type video, maybe a rant. Not sure where the direction of this video is going to go, but let's get into it. I want to share my thoughts about the game and where Season 8 is going. We're going to be talking about the bow changes, meta, player count, and maybe my final thoughts on Season 8. I also wanted to talk about my upload schedule and where I've been in the last few weeks. As you guys notice, it's been over a month since I uploaded a video, and we'll get into that detail later. So with that being said, I hope you guys are having a fantastic day and a fantastic week. Feel free to subscribe down below, leave a comment on what you guys like to see next and or what you guys think about this video. But with that being said, let's get started. First things first is the bow. I've been playing New World since day one. I have roughly 2,000 hours played into the game exclusively to bow. And I have to say, bow right now is probably in the worst position it can be in since the launch of the game. Ever since Season 8 launched, bow had a nerf, an increased damage nerf of 3% compared to Season 7. In Season 7, we were sitting at a 24% nerf to the bow. Even then, you can see the damage that I was getting in my older videos, where I was getting 4K damage consistently, 5K, or even 6K at a more common rate than what I'm getting now in Season 8. But that damage was awesome. Going into Season 8, again, we're now at a 3% nerf, which has increased it to 27%. That is ridiculously high. Bow, the second one from the top, is sitting at 25.30% decreased damage. Now, since June 3rd or 5th when I made that post, I did mention that they reverted some of the damage back, which was a 1.80% increase into damage. So now we're sitting at 25.30, which isn't bad, but I wish they just didn't touch it. 24% seemed pretty manageable. I actually was able to do very well, and yet in Season 8 for my bow damage, which I made no changes to in my builds, I'm now seeing a 2K more commonly, and very rarely a 3 to 4K damage, and 5K is probably the highest I've seen in this season, but that's extremely rare. But not only do you guys notice Sword and Shield is not on here, but look at Fire Staff. Fire Staff, this is part of the meta that I'm going to be talking about and including here. Fire Staff is only at 13%. This, in my opinion, again, this is my opinion, it needs to probably be sitting at the same damage nerf as bow. 25%, maybe 24%, put it there. It's extremely dominant at the moment, especially with Burninator.
Fire Staff, also not surprising given the state of our PvP.
Fire Staff is not OP, okay?
No, I know.
You also have Hatchet, which is sitting at a 5.97% decrease in nerf, or a decrease in damage. I'd feel very comfortable if they even moved that up to 10% and just kept it there throughout the season, because overall, Hatchet does a lot of damage. And then Void, I mainly have a problem with Void sometimes, especially when people are using Void Blade. They already did nerf the Void Blade aspect, but I think it should probably sit roughly at 15% overall. But that's just me, because look at my bow. That is the highest percentage nerf in damage-wise in the entire game. And that 1% increase again is so substantial that it shouldn't even feel that substantial, but it is. So I lost out on pretty much 2,000 damage overall flat from that 1% nerfed damage. And not only that, not only does the damage also hurt, the arrow travels slower than normal. It feels really, really off. Please put it down in the comments if you guys know what I'm talking about. Just arrows overall feel super slow. It feels so slow. And also, not only that, the arrow doesn't seem to be hitting its mark. The target is kind of low to the left a little bit underneath the cursor, if you guys can see that. I've been missing a lot of shots that I typically wouldn't miss, and it's throwing me off so much. And again, just bow just seems to be taking a huge dive down in the fun playable aspect for me, and it's really changing my mind about the game overall. So let's go ahead and talk about the player count. It's dwindling. It's very low. As of writing this video, it is currently sitting at 3.5-ish K players on Steam. This does not account for PlayStation or Xbox players. So overall, it's making queue times last so long. Look at my Outpost Rush queue time. You're telling me there's 3.5 players There's 3.5 thousand players on right now, and nobody's queuing for an outpost rush. That is insane. And we'll get into that detail later. There are peak times in the game that does raise it up to 6K, but we'll get into that later. So 3.5K, player count is dwindling. There are other games out there that are probably taking away from the player count, such as Dune Awakening, which there will be a new video on Dune Awakening on my channel. So if you guys want to see that, stick around, click the subscribe button. If you haven't seen my stream on it already, which is on screen right now and in the annotation card on the right, you can see that I've played it already, and it's a 5-hour stream of me just learning the game. I do plan to do more streams and videos on PvP or some tips and tricks on what I've learned so far in the future. So stick around for that. Let's go ahead and talk about the Coral Divide map. I'm just gonna say it plainly, I dislike this map. I used to think it was fun. I used to think it was great. It was fun to explore it because it was so brand new, but now there's some pretty glaring issues. The map is turned into a Zerg map. Due to the size, it has now become one of the most compact Zerg fests that I've ever seen in a video game. The old OPR map, you had that problem, but it was more towards the center of the map because you had other players that were trying to go around or flank and try to get to the next post and try to capture it, and usually that results in 1v1s. Another issue comes in to where the performance aspect, it's very compact. The fidelity of the game, the fidelity of the map looks amazing, but again, the fact that it's so compact and there's only a few locations where duels or clumps are going to be forming at is in the most detrimental areas where you need to be passing through or you need to cut corners through, and it just really impacts your performance. And I have a pretty decent PC, but I'm getting frames around 30 to maybe 45 in these highly contested areas. So usually I would go into these clumps, do my best to try to get an elimination, but the content creator in me doesn't want to show you guys that because one, you guys don't want to see that. I don't like doing it. I try to mainly go for 1v1s just for the content, but it's proving really difficult with this newly added map. Thankfully though, Coral Divide is on a rotation with the original map, but the OG map, I honestly miss it to death. I can't wait to go back into the original map, and it seems they have already made some changes from what I've seen. We're just going to summarize everything that we just talked about, just to make this video quick. Overall, Season 8 brings new stuff, like new maps and modes. Of course, those new maps and modes are going to be coming out later in the season, or possibly in Season 9, which we already talked about earlier, are queue times. Currently, as of writing this or doing this video, I'm sitting at an hour and 5-minute wait time to queue into an OPR. So the fact that there's going to be new game modes, new maps, and rotation possibly, it's going to take away from a lot of players wanting to queue into certain modes. Or for instance, let's say I want to do OPR, but most of the players are going into capture the flag. Sometimes I may not be in the mood for capture the flag or vice versa, but it is what it is. It's just the name of the game. I feel like, again, the player count comes into play here. It's too little too late, and the player count is going down. And since I am a PvP focused channel where I like to show off my 1v1 duels or the skills or the builds, it makes it very difficult for me to have fun in the game when my queue times are this long. When it comes to meta, I'm really glad that all the melee type builds are having fun with their hatchets and sword and shields combos with all the CCs in the world, and possibly pairing Fire Staff with Void, dealing like nuclear amounts of damage to you. I'm glad you guys are having fun. I still have fun in this game, but it just takes me 10 times the effort for me to enjoy it, if that makes sense. And that's because of the damage nerf. I may have to step back from uploading this game as much. I'm not making a full quit, but I will be having some other games take on the spotlight on the channel for a little bit. New World is not going anywhere. Again, I will be doing New World with other content in between. So if you guys were subscribed due to my New World content, I hope you guys stick around. Again, I have some fun, interesting videos coming out, especially on Dune Awakening, maybe even Chrono Odyssey, for whatever footage that I have of it. But yeah, hopefully you guys stick around and subscribe down below and leave a comment on what you guys would like to see next. Okay, so lastly is, where have I been? I've recently moved work schedules from morning shift to night shift, making it harder for me to get into games at peak times. Most players are on around 3 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. my time, which is I'm on US West El Dorado. I've been on the schedule since the beginning of June, so probably why you guys haven't seen a video from me in that much time, but I will be back to my regular morning schedule starting July, so not too far away. What does this mean? It hopefully means that I can queue into OPRs, 3v3s more frequently, and jump into those fun PvP zone duels more often. This also opens up the window to stream other games or record at the time of day where I don't have to stay so quiet because of my roommates. But I also think that's everything. Guys, thank you guys so much for hearing me out. Your support means a lot to me. Again, we wouldn't be where we are if it wasn't for you guys watching, subscribing, and just commenting, giving that interaction in the first place. So thank you guys again so much for the support. I have a lot of older videos down below if you guys want to binge watch those, whether it be New World or Resident Evil 4, which I haven't finished, which I think I might start getting back into and recording for you guys, but who knows? They are cringy and old, as I mentioned. I didn't know how to edit or actually cut down a video to a more cohesive content for you. I do recommend them. They'll give you a bit of a laugh. Lastly, I do want to give a shout out to a member that I've had for over a month now, Isaiah Banfro, for becoming a member. It's been nearly 2 months, and so thank you for that. So if you guys want to show your support, feel free to become a member. There is membership badges that will go right next to your name, and for the longer that you stay become a member, they upgrade in tier, and you guys can see those tiers in the membership tab on the channel. So that's everything, guys. I'm not going anywhere. My schedule has just been a little wishy-washy. I will go back to a normal upload schedule maybe every 2 weeks, because again, I'll have that time and that peak time zones to play. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, the rest of your week, wherever you guys are. I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.